Yo, what it is, you know what it is. It's your man, King Musa. Welcome to First Impression Dallas. I have a very important guest for y'all. And introduce yourself and what you do here in Dallas.
My name is Curtis Ferguson. I am a recently retired art teacher. I had more fear of my mother than the streets.
Man,
And when you get approached with selling drugs and all that,
what got you into art? I know you talked about good times and everything else like that. And how did you land at
where
the...
I was able to discover a young lady named Amanda Dunbar.
All right.
And Amanda Dunbar is my claim to fame. Camp Wisdom, there's a mural on the corner in front of the Southern Bible. I'm the one that did that.
Yes,
There's
sir.
another mural on Coach Street. But I didn't do it alone, me and my students. And my
Who
brother.
was going to tell the truth? I just want to know who was going to actually...
Voting Rights Act, DEI, because at the end of the day, you needed it. It wasn't about a quota like they're trying to say, but if this particular corporation didn't want to hire any blacks, they didn't have to.
Right.
So
So black boy, once you mess up, one mess up. Don't
One.
matter how, what
One.
level it's on. What is your vision when it comes to retirement? You know, I didn't have a black art teacher, so I thought art was... So what do we have here?
This painting is called Erasing Black History. And part of branding and becoming an artist, you have to be able to control your narrative. You have to tell your story. If you're going to go into business for yourself, you must invest into advertising.
You have your paintings out. I know there's usually a story.
The composition, if it's something that's going to be joyful or playful, I may play, like in this particular, this is a tribute to black girls, and I wanted to take the phone out of their hands.
Okay.
I wanted them reading. I didn't want them...
Yo, what it is, you know what it is. It's your man, King Musa. Welcome to First Impression Dallas. I have a very important guest for y'all. This is someone who's actually been making a big impact in the city of Dallas, especially, I believe that's Red Oak or Duncanville?
Duncanville.
Duncanville.
Duncanville right
All
now.
right.
Yes.
I'm going to let him introduce himself. But before we get into that, I do know, let me give y'all my background of how I got to know this person. Before I got here, walking in, my father-in-law, I just wanted to tease him and ask him, hey, do you know a person named Curtis Jackson? Curtis Ferguson, my apologies. He's like, yes. He's the guy who drew that painting. And I'm going to have that painting right here, but it's literally a picture of him and his sister who happened to pass away. So I really want to tell you, I appreciate that. Before we get started into anything.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yes, sir. So my first question for you, can you go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do here in Dallas?
My name is Curtis Ferguson. I am a recently retired art teacher. On top of that, I've been a community activist, very active in the community, along with being a child advocate,
Yes.
muralist, mentor, and my whole position has been one of trying to make a difference.
Yes, sir.
And trying to make sure that this next generation can do it better than my generation did it.
Right. Stepping a little bit back with your background, where did you grow up? And where did you go to school? Things like that.
I grew up in a place called Flint, Michigan. Single mother. It was three of us. And I must give my mother kudos because all three of us have our master's degrees, which is something wasn't supposed to happen when you're a single mother. Growing up in Flint, Michigan in the 60s and the 70s, my mother was very strict. I had more fear of my mother than the streets.
Man.
And when you get approached with selling drugs and all that other fun stuff like we did in Flint, they couldn't touch Shirley.
Right. Leadership started at the home. I love it. Yes.
And
thank you, Mom.
Shirley didn't play. Yeah, thank you, Mom. And you knew what the expectations were. And then some situations happened. And we moved to a place called Texarkana, Texas.
Yes, sir.
And I graduated from Texas High. My high school art teacher name was Harding Thoreau Dion Jr. He was actually out of San Bernardino, California, came here to teach art, and he told me about some possibilities because I had a God-given gift.
Right.
And in my mind, I was going to go military.
Come on.
I was impressed with the Marines and the uniforms. I,
The Marines. He
yeah,
was not playing.
yeah, that's what I
Okay,
was going to
okay,
do.
okay.
My father, my biological father, was a strict martial artist. He
Yes,
did
sir.
yoga. He was a fifth degree black belt, all that fun stuff. So I was really gung ho for the Marines, but I didn't know what I could do with art. I knew art was an escape for me because I was really inspired by Good Times
Yes, sir.
and the character JJ and the real artist Ernie Barnes and his
Okay.
work. Mine isn't exactly like his, but I was
Okay.
inspired by that. And Mr. Dion, my senior year, had me on television. He had me in the newspaper. He had me thinking out of the box in terms of what I could do with
What year
art.
is this?
This is 1982, 83.
He's a celebrity. Y'all realize this, right?
Uh,
Because I'll let you continue.
no, no, it's no problem because that's what it's all about. Getting as an educator, that was my goal to
Right.
get students to see a bigger, broader picture, see the universe, and
Yes, sir.
understand that you have a place there,
Hmm.
and you're not limited to your community or, as you know, some of us say, our hood,
Yes, sir.
because God gave you breath to breathe,
Okay.
and He wanted you to breathe life into everything around
Yes,
you,
sir.
and part of that is believing and dreaming. And a lot of our kids today, I don't think, dream. So I had
Mm.
dreams, and I wanted to make a difference, even in high school.
Yes,
So
sir.
from there, I went to Arkansas,
Okay.
to Henderson State University, where I got my undergraduate degree, and I became an educator
Yes, sir.
and started having fun from then on.
Okay. Okay. I like the journey. Now, little step back. What got you into art? I know you talked about Good Times and everything else like that. And how did you land at Bird?
Uh, well, I have a God given I have a God given ability,
Yes, sir.
and I was always fascinated by people and expressions, and I was always impressed by people that look like me. And you hear this story so much by so many artists that when I did go to
It's
museums and
real.
galleries, I never saw me. And I was a big fan of Norman Rockwell.
Okay.
He was my guy because he painted everyday scenes, but the scenes didn't include me. He
Okay.
painted children having fun, but it didn't include me. He
Right.
painted parents helping their children, but it didn't include me. It didn't include my mama. Didn't include my daddy, my cousins.
Dude.
So I
Okay.
was like, you know what? Let me paint people and show how we live.
Yes, sir.
And it's not always a cookie cutter, but it's many times just the joy of living, because we were poor, but I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
And there are a lot of black people that can tell you, you know, we were poor, but we didn't know, because the love was there, the
Yes.
care was there. And you break a lot of stereotypes when you talk about your childhood, because you talk about growing up in the hood, and a lot of people didn't recognize it as such. I
Okay.
grew up with my family. I grew up with my mama. I grew up, you know, da 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 da. And from those things, I knew how to love. I knew how to respect. I knew how to care. I knew I had integrity. I knew how to work,
Yes,
because
sir.
mama didn't play. And what happened with me was, when I first started teaching in Texarkana, Texas,
Yes, sir.
my goal was to get to Dallas,
Hmm.
but I knew I probably need to go through some things. The first year teaching, I got teacher of the year.
Okay.
Second year teaching, I got teacher of the year. Third year teaching, I got teacher of the year.
The art teacher is
Yeah.
getting teacher of the year,
But I'm gonna
y'all.
tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. It's because I invested my time into young black males that
Yes, sir.
nobody else wanted to deal with. My
Oh,
teacher of the year didn't come because I
wow.
was doing art.
Yes.
It came because once I developed a relationship with these young black males who many times didn't have a father figure, based on what I learned from Mr. Dion, I had to invest into them.
Hmm.
So we went on trips. They went to places like Hot Spring, Arkansas. They went to places where they had to figure things out because it wasn't home.
Yeah.
They had to see new environments, and the school knew I was doing that. And because of that, I started an organization called the Posse, Pine Street Posses. Before I got to Pine Street, they knew it as Crime Street.
Okay.
When I got there, it was Pine Street, and the Posse stood for people organized so students are exposed and excel. And at the end of the day, I was able to decide I wanted to go to another school district, so I went to Farmersville, Texas.
Yes, sir.
And in Farmersville, Texas, I got teacher of the year. and I got several awards because I was one of the first black teachers, not to mention black art teacher in Farmersville, up there by Princeton and McKinney, and I didn't start any organizations there. I had the white students, the Hispanic students painting.
Yes, sir.
We painted we painted murals, the gym, did a weekend, spent the night at the gym overnight because it's a small little town.
Okay.
But the parents brought us breakfast the next morning, and I had about 100 students
Yes,
that
sir.
were painting, and we did it in one weekend. Then I left there and went to Allen.
Okay.
And when I went to Allen, I got Bell Ringer of the Year and a couple other things because of the work I was doing with youth involving art. I'm sorry.
Allen High School.
Allen, no, Ford Middle School in Allen.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Ford
Okay,
Middle
okay.
School.
We're getting closer. I'm
Yes.
with you. I'm with you. I'm seeing how we're getting
Yeah.
closer to birds. Yes,
And
sir.
when I went there, that's where I was able to discover a young lady named Amanda Dunbar.
All right.
And Amanda Dunbar is my claim to fame. She's a young lady I started teaching when she was 13, and by the time she turned 18, she was a millionaire from selling her work. And we were on it in featured in People magazine. We did Oprah. Oprah flew us to Chicago to
Oh
do her show.
yeah. Hey, y'all gotta wait for that tour. I apologize for interrupting. Y'all do have to wait for that tour. Y'all see this picture over here? That's why I had to sit over here so I could point at it. We're gonna find out about this background once we do the tour. So stay tuned for that. Um, Continue.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
and but the Oprah Winfrey show didn't happen right away.
Right.
But I created an afternoon class when school was out, and Amanda came to me. She said, "My sister excels in piano," and she said, "I'm a straight A student, but I don't know what I can do." And so I put a paintbrush in her hand and had her get on this canvas and told her just play in the paint, just
Yes,
play
sir.
in it. Don't follow anybody's rules. With some of the artists out here like Matisse and Picasso, you can't have rules
Okay.
because they broke them all.
Okay.
So just let a child paint and let them express themselves. And she did, and she was amazing. And um, from there, I left Allen and I came to Dallas, and I think for a stint, though, I started working for DJ Design Group, which is an architectural firm.
Okay.
She needed a art director to create renderings of what buildings would look like
All
once
right.
completed. And from there, I started at a school called T.W. Brown Middle School in Dallas. And I got Teacher of the Year there because I started a mentoring program, once again, dealing with the black boys that everybody think is a headache. You just got to get to know them, and they're looking for structure. They're
Yes,
looking for
sir.
someone to care about them. Um, teacher of the Year there. Left there and went to Carter High School.
Okay.
Carter,
Now,
Carter.
are we gonna dive into Carter? Are we gonna dive into
I'm only
Carter?
talk about Carter a little bit. I'll let you ask questions about Carter. I love Carter. I have 5 children. 3 of my sons graduated from Carter. So I love some Carter. CC Cowboys, give it up to y'all. Y'all know what it's about. That's right. So I love
Man,
Carter.
he fought hard for Carter, y'all.
I do. I do. I love
I
some
just
Carter.
find this out like today. So
I
just stay
love
tuned.
Carter. Carter is what it is. And one thing, 2 of my sons became uh, president of their classes. My one son, he became the drum major, president of the class, number 7 in his class. Mr. Carter, he was a docent at the African American Museum. Um, and I was able to be Teacher of the Year at Carter twice.
Yes, sir.
Then I left Carter and went to A.W. Brown Charter School, and I did a mentoring program there with black boys,
Yes, sir.
just trying to get them right. And then I took a year off, and then I heard about a position at Byrd Middle School.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
finally got there. And I had
What
the
year is
honor.
this?
This is 2016,
Okay,
2015.
okay. Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
Yeah,
He
no,
done
I'm
touched every
sorry.
state. No, I love it. I love it. This is the real journey.
And so I was at Byrd Middle School, and I was able to be featured along with my students in a couple of magazines, and I was able to be on television a couple of times, and I was able to be teacher of the year at Bird twice.
Yes, sir.
And I decided recently, May 27th was my last day at Bird Middle School, and I retired after 36 years of teaching.
Thank you for coming home. I can at
Gotta
least say
bring it
that you found
home.
the nest to rest.
Yes, yes,
But I love that, and I don't think y'all understand this journey. Just because he's telling you, oh, teachers of the year, doesn't mean it was easy. So I do want to know, um, especially from Carter High School, and I mean, each high school had their own challenges.
yeah.
But what was the challenges being an art teacher, but then also standing up for social justice and everything else?
I rarely taught art at Carter. I did a couple of public murals like this one.
Yes,
If you
sir.
go to Hamilton Road, Hamilton Road and Camp Wisdom, there's a mural on the corner in front of the Southern Bible. I'm the one that did that.
Yes,
There's another
sir.
mural on Polk Street, but I didn't do it alone. Me and my students did it. And I created a work program at Carter.
Time out. I'm sorry. You and your students. We can see the proof in the pudding outside
Yes,
right now. We drive
yes,
by it.
yes,
People pay thousands of dollars
yes,
to get that done.
yes, yes.
Thank
We
you so
worked with the
much.
city of Dallas and we were able to accomplish it. But when I was at Carter, um, I rarely taught art. And even though I did public art projects, public community art projects like that, my goal was to get especially the Black boys, to realize their value. So I started a program called I Am a Man.
I am a man.
I Am a Man. And
Okay.
that came from Dr. King in 1968.
Yes, sir.
All of the sanitation workers had signs
Okay.
saying I am a man because they were considered niggas.
Right.
They were called niggas and they were calling each other niggas. And Dr. King said, no, 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 no.
No.
You're men. You have to accept that God given position because in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 through 28, God said, let us create man in our image. Not niggas, fools, dogs, pimp, players, G's, but let us create man. And if you look at the Black exploitation movies of the 70s, Black people in all these movies from Superfly to Black Caesar are calling each other nigga, 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 but they calling the white male man. That's a
Sir.
God-given
Right.
inheritance that we refuse to accept because of social norms and because, well, we took the sting out of the word, so now we embrace it. You ain't embrace nothing. The word is associated with too much death and destruction. There is no difference. I don't care what Tupac says between nigger or nigga. And the bottom line is tomato, tomato is the same word.
Yes,
And
sir.
when you look at God, the spiritual side of it, there's nowhere in the world you can call that word that's associated with so much blood and destruction and demoting a human being, which God created, to three-fifths, going back to Dred Scott case, that's still on the Supreme Court board because they never changed it.
Yeah.
When you look at all the lynching, you look at all the third-class citizenship that they applied to us because we were considered niggas, and now we embracing it, singing about it, laughing about it, and telling our children that that's what you are, you my little nigga, if you don't get no bigger. What are we doing? And then we wonder why there's so much chaos, confusion, and we say white people ain't changed. Well, we're telling them we are the nigga that you called us. Until we accept being a man, until we accept our God-given inheritance. Because remember, after God said we'll make them in our image, he said we're going to give them dominion over all the creatures of the earth. So the white male said, well, these niggas are going to be creatures. We're going to call them monkeys. We're going to call them coons. We're going to call them jigaboos. We're going to call them nigga. We're going to call them whatever. And then we embrace it saying, look, but we strong now. We empowered ourselves. And the only power you're going to get in these days is when you give your child stocks, when you give your child land, when you give your child money and something that he can turn around and invest and make a difference. The word nigga does not elevate us. Who does it benefit? I'm sorry, you got me started. I wasn't trying to go there,
No.
but my
Who
brother.
was gonna tell the truth? I just want to know who was gonna actually tell the truth. Y'all do not understand. Y'all watch all this social media. Y'all watch all this Instagram and TikToks, and the new influencers are just complaining about the man. You are a man.
That's right.
Like you're
That's
created in
right.
the image of God. And
That's
so for
right.
you to say it so passionately, Thank God he's retired now
Yeah.
because he can tell the truth more to everyone. Like, let me not get started too. Thank
Well,
you.
at
Thank you.
Carter, I started another organization called STARS. STARS was Student Teachers Against Racial Slurs.
Okay.
And so I don't like any of the racial slurs, but the sad part about it is so many black people come to me now and say, well, Hispanics use the word too. So what about them, Mr. Ferguson? I said, but at any point they can step away from the word. If I did experiment at Carter, I did it at Byrd, I've done it at every school district. I write two questions on the board. As an art teacher, I can do that because
Yeah.
we're expressing.
Yeah.
So I write up on the board, what is a nigga? Who are niggas? Every black person said a nigga is a dumb, ignorant, lazy, da 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 da. Then they put friend at the end. And I said, who are black people? Every black student would say anybody. But when I read what my Hispanic students wrote, they always put black. You thinking that they feeling you, they doing it because it's part of this hip hop culture, but they
It's a
still view us.
trend.
Come on now, they still viewing you as a nigga, and you don't realize it. And the only thing that's going to change that, that's not to say there should be some rivalry. No, I'm saying until
Step
we
out
put,
of it.
come on now,
Step
until we
out of
tell
it.
the whole world admired what we did with civil rights, that we were proving that we were men, we weren't this thing, this second class citizenship. Then when hip hop comes along and all of a sudden hip hop say, yeah, I'm a real ass nigga, yeah, my nigga, this that, and the other, and y'all embrace it, and the whole world after
It
everybody's
was
using it.
a whole two
That's
generations
right.
that got affected by it bad.
That's
Like,
right.
mentally
Two
bad. All
generations,
they
you're
have to
exactly
do was
right.
look at it every time they were reminded, so they didn't get an example of what is good, of what is, successful, of how you can express yourself. No, you have to either be a man or be crazy. So
And see, my challenge is this, is that at the end of the day, look at all the things the government is taking away from us now. Going back to the 60s, civil rights uh, acts, voting rights act, DEI,
hmm
because at the end of the day, you needed it. It
yeah,
wasn't about a quota like they're trying to say, but if this particular corporation didn't want to hire any blacks, they didn't have to.
right.
So it wasn't about getting unqualified people in there. You had educated black people who couldn't get hired because the status quo was we're not going to hire you guys. So I this is what I did at Carter.
Okay.
This is what I tried to instill into the minds of a lot of young men. And then I met a white gentleman named Eddie Dean.
Okay.
He owned Eddie Dean Ranch, $27 million guy.
Yes, sir.
That's how I was able to meet President Bush.
Okay.
Eddie Dean, we were meeting with Dwayne Caraway, the mayor pro tem at the time, and Mr. Dean came in and said, all these young black males, their pants are pulled up. How did you get them to do that? I said, I asked them to do that. He said, just ask. I said, yeah, all you got to do is tell people how you see them and show that you care about them. And you'll be surprised how they say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Yeah.
disrespect. And they pull it up. And Mr. Dean and I
See
started,
value. Yes.
yeah, we started a joint business partnership. And what he did was he catered parties.
hmm
And sometimes he would need as many as 100 people to work as wait staff. Well, I got 173 black students in my
Ready to
program.
work.
And he said, well, I'll tell you what, I can do it two ways. I can give you the money to your program at Carter, or we can actually pay the students.
Right.
And I had so many students asking me as first, can you help my mother pay the light bill? Can you help us pay the water bill? Can you help us on our rent? Well, my pockets were only so deep. And Mr. Dean and I came up with a term called earn your keep.
Yeah.
Why don't I teach these boys how to make their money, teach them how to be headship, teach them headship. So, because right now, mom was doing everything. Mom was working, mom was fighting, mom was paying the bills, mom was cleaning, mom was cooking, mom was. So they grow up thinking a woman's supposed to take care of them. No, headship says you are the man. You are the one supposed to. When she's pregnant, you supposed to be there making sure she has everything done. So when we started doing that, we had a $10,000 a month payroll at Carter. It was like a work study program,
Yes.
but it wasn't through the school. It was after school that we met. And the program, I Am a Man, I own. Ownership is very important. Make sure you
Okay.
you you own your stuff. So I own I Am a Man, and we did that for seemed like almost a decade. We did it for years,
Yes, sir.
and it we were able to go to Greg Abbott's inauguration. They paid for everything, and they got to see an inauguration, something a lot of black kids never thought they would see in the state of
That's what I'm
Texas.
trying to say. If they don't get to see it, they
That's
won't know it's
it's
an
everything.
opportunity.
That right.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
I
So then
respect
we
that.
did that. Kids had the money. They was able to pay bills. They was able to do that. We helped a lot. Mr. Dean helped us do a lot. We had some students that was in trouble with the law,
Hmm.
and Mr. Dean said, "Hey, y'all, Thursday tie day, bring all that to court." And we would show up 20 students, 40 students, black students, shirt and tie, booted, sitting in court, and Mr. Dean would talk to the judge in the back and say, "Hey, these are the students in the program this young man is supposed to be a part of, and um, if we can do something here, he don't have to go to jail. He don't have to go to prison. He's in this program. This is some of the results you'll see." And Mr. Dean helped several not go to prison because of that.
That's great leadership.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh man, you'd be
Thank you.
surprised. I'm grateful to
You
him.
said 36 years?
I've been teaching 36 years. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, oh
36
man,
years
my
of
pleasure.
like activism, just social justice for you. Like if what you wanted, what you needed as a young boy growing up, where you found was missing in your own life and just said, no, I'm stepping into it and fulfilling that. So thank you.
Oh man, it's my pleasure. Now you have
Yes,
to
sir.
understand, I have 5 children, 4 sons of my own, and I have one of my sons, Cameron, my oldest son. He has his own company, married, beautiful home in DeSoto. Uh, I have my third son, Christopher. Christopher is a licensed plumber. He's doing his own thing. My fourth son, Curtis, my namesake, Curtis graduated from Paul Quinn College.
Hmm.
He did an internship with Southwest Airlines. They went ahead and hired him out of college, and he's doing amazingly well. He just came back from Paris and London, just took a trip, just wanted to go solo,
Yes,
do his
sir.
thing. And I have a baby girl, my beautiful daughter, my only daughter, and she has me wrapped.
Right.
And then
Spoiled.
what I want to say
Spoiled.
is, you
I'm
know,
saying it
she
now.
is.
Spoiled.
But what I want to say on your podcast is, I left out my son Chandler intentionally because I told you how Chandler was the president at Carter of his senior class. He was the docent at the African American Museum. He was everything. Then he won $250,000 scholarship to TCU Division I filmmaker.
What? A scholarship?
$250,000. But let me finish his story. He just got sentenced to 3 years in prison. So even though he's my heart and everything, and
That's okay. That's okay.
I can
There's a
tell you,
journey there. There's a journey there.
and he got it. When I tell you God is blessing so much, because he went to prison because he got addicted to crystal meth,
Mm-hmm.
which ain't ours,
Mm-hmm.
and he went to prison because he uh, violated probation. He didn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
He didn't sell any drugs. He didn't do anything wrong, and they were going to give that boy 10 years.
You on a tight string.
Yeah,
As a black guy, black
come on,
boy, once you
one
mess up, one mess up. Don't
one
matter how, what
one.
level it's on, misdemeanor, anything. One time in the system, you're in it, and
That's right.
like all they have to do is pull a string.
That's right.
So it's it's not sweet,
Well, I'm going to say this to you, and I want y'all to listen because you may feel like doing certain things don't matter, and it does. We're still in the system we're in. By the time I got to court, because I was going back and forth trying to see what was going on, my son didn't want me to talk about anything because of certain views I had. What I found out was they had 10 years on the table for my son. But when I went into court, they had my son pegged as a thug. I'm like, Chandler? He's the first thing from a thug. He's brought up upper middle class,
right.
and I can keep going from there. So his attorney, for whatever reason, didn't want me to speak. And I did beg her. I said, can I speak on my son's behalf? And I'm gonna tell you, parents, you got to stick in there, just like we go dealing with Carmelo, just like we dealing with Nolan. You got to be there for your children. When I got on the stand, they said, "Well, what would you like to tell us about your son?" I found out they did not know he was the president of the class. They did not know he was number 7 in his class. They did not know he was a docent at the African American Museum. They did not know he won a $250,000 scholarship to their university right down the street, because this was in Tarrant County. When they found out all of that, like I said, they had 10 years on the table because they thought he was just a thug. And y'all can think being a thug or a real ass nigga is real, but trust me, they got places for you. What happened was they went from 10 years to 3 years for my son. And because he had been locked up for 9 months, he just went a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
He's eligible for parole in April.
Yes. Thank the
So,
Lord.
no, man, I'm praising God. I've been dancing. I've been
Come
doing
on.
backward flips because Chandler just needs an opportunity.
Yes.
And I think God has done it and is doing it for him. And I'm just ecstatic about it because, I was a single father for a while, and it was really hard. That's why kudos go to any single mother,
Yes,
because
sir.
I didn't realize when you wake up and your son come in there and
You
his underwear,
outnumbered.
his underwear were too tight. And I was like, Chris, why you got on those tight underwear? Go put on some bigger. He said, I don't have any. You ain't bought me none. I said, when am I supposed to buy him underwear on top
Right.
of cook, on top of clean, on top of take him to school? 2 o'clock in the morning, they up sick. I got to get up, even though I'm supposed to get up at 5 for work.
Who
I got to
cares?
go in there with him. Exactly. And I'm sitting in there while he doing whatever he doing in the bathroom. He goes to sleep for an hour. Well, by this time, it's 4:30 time for me to get up.
Yeah.
I got Mama's been doing this for decades. And Father, I'm doing a
But
book.
y'all gotta understand, it's been a
Yeah,
war that y'all had to
that's
go
right.
through. So
That's right.
when women stepped up, they had to step up. So we have to
That's right.
respect that. So I I see what you're saying, that there's
Yes.
a lack of knowledge
Yes.
of household needs, household desires. Like the household wife is almost a six-figure job. Like
It
for
is.
real.
It
Like when
is.
they do the math, you keep up with a
Yes.
lot. And so father's presence in the home, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it. And like I said, my book is coming out. It's called "It's Easier to Pay Child Support," and it's about being a single father raising children. That many fathers, they think that paying the child support is the oh man, I ain't gonna pay all this money, and they don't realize it's not about the money, man. It's about the day to day,
Yes,
the
sir.
24/7. That really is so crucial
Yes,
in
sir.
the development of a boy to man or even a girl to lady,
Come on.
because it's necessary. And I realize I have to be there for my baby, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna teach them.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna teach them how to. But no, this is where I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. If y'all want a second part, we'll jump into it. I gotta stick with what we need to know. What is your vision when it comes to um retirement? Like I know you're not done. I still hear it inside you. So what do
Yeah.
you feel like the next 3 to 5 years we can see Mr. Ferguson working on?
Well, you're going to see me doing murals in DeSoto, Duncanville, Lancaster, Cedar Hill, Dallas. You're going to see me still working with youth.
Where's Red Oak?
Red Oak.
Okay, there we
Red
go.
Oak.
Come on
Did I
now.
leave
Come
Red
on
Oak
now.
out?
Yeah.
That's the Freudian slip, Red Oak. Red Oak, Midlothian, we can Glen Heights. Let me add all of it up in
Yeah.
there.
Okay, we got
And
time.
the goal is just to make a difference in the lives of youth. The goal is I have a book that I'm working on. I have 4 books that have been published.
Yes, sir.
So I'm working on several simultaneously, but one is called Flowers in the Dirt.
Yes, sir.
And that's against African American youth using the N word.
Okay.
And the name comes from my son and my mother planting flowers in the flower bed. And my son asks my mother, so why do the flowers grow?
Hmm.
And my mother so eloquently says, because even the flowers want to get out of the dirt. And the premise there is our children want to shine. They want to be valuable. They want to show you their beauty. But we got this N word all upon them that's all people see. And at the end of the day, until we get that word off our children and stop justifying its use, well, anybody can use it, anybody can be a nigga. No, man, you better go back and read your history book. What they're doing now in Washington, D.C., and I know this is political, I'm not trying to get into politics, um,
Truth is
is
truth.
based on the premise of us as niggers, as the N word, as 3/5 of a human. And they're going to show us by making America great again. They're going to show us. And the only thing that's going to save us is God's kingdom. And I truly believe that because at the end of the day, um, our Savior, Jesus Christ, King of Kings and Lord of Lords, is like presidents of presidents. He's the only one, and he showed us when he was here. He can feed everybody. He showed us he can cure every disease. He can control the weather. Money wasn't important. It was about love, uh, loving his heavenly Father, our heavenly
Come
Father,
on, that's your
and loving each
identity right
other.
there.
Yeah, and that's everything.
Come
But that's why
on.
you got to go back to being a man. You can't keep this, well, we niggas, we real G's, you got to go back to who God is,
Yep.
and like I said, uh, Jehovah God, Jesus Christ, and then we start dealing with the Holy Spirit, and we're dealing with us.
Yes, sir.
So that's, yeah.
Okay. Um Now, coming up this weekend, we do have, some events and everything happening. Your art event that's happening this Friday and
Mhm.
Saturday, kind of give the audience something to kind of look forward to when it comes to seeing what you've done in the community, and some events you might have coming up.
Well, this weekend we're going to be here at Jones Incorporated, which is where we are now. They are an apparel branding company. They do everything:
Come on.
t-shirts, they do hats, they do polo shirts. They, if you have a brand, they're willing to do it, and that's why I want to partner with them because they do quality work. And as an artist, you have to start thinking branding
Yes.
because once you start thinking of branding, your name carry something just like Mercedes, the emblem for Mercedes. They're going to associate it with quality. They're going to
Mhm.
associate it with integrity and character. And it can be, when you talk about quality, it can be expensive.
Right.
You can't give your work away. That cliche, starving artists hate it. I studied art, which I didn't tell you, but I studied art in New York for a while in a place called Soho. And the Italian artist that we study with explained to us, you got to put value on your work,
Yes.
and you don't just give it away. And so, what I'm going to do Friday evening, I'm going to tell about what we did with Amanda Dunbar. Amanda Dunbar is a young lady from Canada that I was able to discover at 13. By the time she was 18, we made $1 million, 0% for us. Well, what do we do? Well, you don't have to wait till you're 18
Right.
to try to pursue your art career, because the problem is if you wait till you're 18, you're going to be competing with me.
Yes.
You don't want to do that.
Right. When there's
You
literally so much
that's right.
help, these then competitions, everything, just looking to put your art out there,
That's
looking to
right.
support,
That's right.
artists.
And we're going to discuss that Friday night,
Okay.
how to get that going. It's going to be water, little snacks, but I have a little flyer that I'm going to give to everybody, and also I'm working on a book now. That I retired, I'm working on a lot of books. There's a lot of things to talk
He got
about.
time to talk.
Yes. And so Friday is, if you can get here, if you have a cousin, nephew, niece, especially in the Duncanville area, going to Duncanville High School, middle school. We have 3 middle schools here: Kennemer, Reed, Bird, and we have one beautiful high school. Come out. If you're a teacher, aunt, grandmother, come out. We're going to talk. I'm going to take questions. We're going to show you the episode of me on the Oprah Winfrey Show. Miss Jones is going to have it connected so you can see me and Amanda talking to Miss Winfrey. And then on Saturday, we're going to be here from 10 to 12. I'm going to be drawing photographs. So
Yeah.
Friday, if you're not doing anything and you say, hey, let's go check out what's going on, come by. If you want to bring your portfolio, if you have a sketch pad, let me see what you have. And I start normally at age 13, but if you're younger, still come by and let me talk to you and kind of give you some direction. Saturday, I'm just gonna be doing portraits, caricatures of anyone that wants to come through. So if you and the kids are out shopping or doing anything here along Main Street, drop in. I got you. We're only going to be here from 10 to 2,
Okay.
but please come by, meet Miss Jones. Uh, find out what she can offer you in terms
Right.
of branding, t-shirts, and everything else. She does everything. I'm not saying it all, but she does it
Shameless
all.
plug. Thank you. I know
She
exactly where
does
I'm
it
getting
all.
merch from.
And like I said, I want to make sure that as Black entrepreneurs, now that I'm in that realm, I want to connect with anyone I can, Black,
Yes, sir.
white, brown. But with her, I've been impressed with her. Her mother is a family thing going, and her story is remarkable.
Absolutely.
Stay here. You're going to hear about her too. Watch.
Come on. I already told her walked in. You're next. You're next.
Yes.
All right. So I do appreciate that rundown what's happening this weekend. I personal question, I should say,
Hmm.
and this has to do with the black boys. I didn't have a black art teacher, so I thought art was for girls, arts and craft, and then when you do get to see murals and things like that, you're used to graffiti, so how did you get art to become something acceptable to young boys, something normal, something exciting, something extraordinary, more than you just playing with paper.
Because you're talking about the difference between arts and crafts and fine art.
Okay.
Well, one of my paintings, and this gets boys' attention. One of my paintings will sell for $7,500.
Right.
Amanda was selling one painting for 40,000.
Right.
So when you start talking money, you get the brothers' attention. I had a prison ministry. My stepfather was a prison guard for 40 years.
Yes,
So I
sir.
had access to go to the prison and meet some of the guys, and they had some art stuff going on. And many of those guys in prison could beat me drawing.
Right.
I'm like, dude, why are you here? And he said, well, man, they don't spend money on art in school. They spend it on sports. They
Yeah.
spend it maybe on dance. They spend it maybe on choir. They spend on
Yeah.
every other fine art except what our brothers can do. So many of them would leave school and go tag. They would go, do graffiti on the
Mm-hmm.
wall. But now in New York and Philly and even LA, tagging has a price tag to it. They are really compensating these brothers for their original artwork. It's become fine art now.
Right.
So what I was able to do was
Okay.
to show the guys, you see a picture with me and Beyonce up there.
Mm-hmm.
You see me and the president. So I'm with millionaire and billionaires showing our youth art took me to a place it wasn't supposed to. You see that with athletes,
Yeah.
but I was able to go to another place through the grace of God. You can do that. You can do better than me. Let's just start marketing it now. Get with people like Miss Jones and Jones Inc. and start branding who you
Come
are and
on.
define who you are before the world
Yes,
does.
sir. I love that. I love that. And to me, branding is everything.
Yes.
First impression media, first impression radio, first impression television, the whole 9 yards, all is who that's just the type of person I am. It's all about first impressions. So
I
I
like
do
that. I like
understand,
that.
the meaning behind branding and learning that early, because I want my sons to know your name is your brand, and I don't want you wearing Nike. I want you wearing Messiah.
Right,
I don't want
right.
you
There it
wearing,
is. There it is.
Adidas. I want you wearing Musa. Like, I
Yes.
want you wearing your name and who you are, because when somebody else sees that, guess what they want to be like?
Be like you.
Okay, now,
Yeah.
so
That's right.
I don't
That's
have to
right.
tell you what it is. You know the answer to it. Go ahead and just share your art, as you
That's right.
say. Um, my final question before we go, what would you want to advise, or, kind of, what would be your last lesson as a teacher when it comes to maybe the boys, maybe the communities, maybe the families, but as an art teacher, what is your final thing you want to leave out to kind of let people know that they may not understand, respect, or know about art?
Well, the thing I found out, it goes, everything with me is going to be spiritual.
Yes,
So
sir.
it's going to go back to love. It's going to go back to treat people how you want to be treated. It's going to go back to the golden rule. It's going to go back to dreaming. It's going to go back. Our kids stopped dreaming because they were limited to hip hop and athletics and entertainment and the, the streets.
Yeah.
They didn't know. My brother-in-law is a surgeon, married to my sister. My brother, Kenneth Ferguson, look it up.
Okay.
First black chief of police in Hampton, Virginia.
Right.
You got a dream. We grew up in the hood, and not
You're
all
not
the
seeing that
hood,
on
but
TV.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
not seeing it in your hangout group or
that's
anything
right.
else like that. It's amazing.
And so once you have that love, love attract love,
Yes,
hate
sir.
attract hate. If you showing love for yourself, and you got to know yourself, once you know who you are, you control that narrative, and
Yes,
you don't
sir.
let anyone come in there and dictate who you are or who you're supposed to be. You must be intentional about everything you're doing. For you parents, you got to make sure you guide your child that in that direction. And if he decides to change or alter a little bit, question him, challenge him on it, to make sure he doesn't just become a jack of all trade and a master of none. Make sure that he can master something that is really about his heart. Because believe it or not, teaching school, I didn't realize I got kind of complacent. I got a little
Oh.
lazy. I didn't do what I'm doing now. I did
Oh.
because I was focused mainly on, okay, we're going to teach and we're going to do. And now that I'm not teaching, it's like I got my second win. I'm finna do my books. I mean, that's my intention. I got my Painting You Designs LLC. I'm doing murals in homes and commercial properties, uh, public places, and with teaching, you're dealing, and that's not a slap in the face to
A diss,
teachers.
right?
The diss to teachers. The challenge with teaching is you go in 1 hour and you got to deal with 30 different personalities, problems, challenges,
And a
triumphs.
curriculum.
I wasn't even gonna say curriculum, but you got to deal with
I have family. I have
but
family, so
that's the
I have
first
inside scoop.
hour.
I'm not gonna lie.
And that's the first. The second hour, you got to deal with 30 more.
Yeah.
The third hour, you got to deal with 30
Yeah.
more. So if you got 7 periods, you probably got 30, 25 to 30 students each period. That's 200 people you deal with every day.
Social battery dying. Who
So
knows you? Who knows
yes,
all your
yes,
anything? They all see you constantly.
yes. And so you get complacent because you're exhausted mentally. Then you got to deal with the politics and the bureaucracy, and you got to deal with,
The
depending on,
shifts of
yes,
curriculum.
yeah, you're funny about the curriculum. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the curriculum is the easy part. I think the challenging is the personalities, because you got to care about kids.
But that's what I'm saying. The people who are creating that,
Yeah,
do you have kids
yeah,
or have
that
you
part. I
taught
see what you're saying.
kids?
I see what you're saying.
So I'm just trying to say without saying it mean, because I don't want the wrong people to get the wrong first impression.
Yes, first impression. First
Yes,
impression.
sir. Yes, sir.
But I've enjoyed this, man. This has been a pleasure. Thank you for
Absolutely.
having me on your show.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to kind of tell the audience before we go?
No, because I'm hoping this is not the only time we're going to talk. Hopefully,
Oh,
when I
yeah.
get, it's easier to pay child support. Copy written and on Amazon, and then my other book, Flowers in the Dirt.
Yes, sir.
Once I get those 2 books done, I'm hoping you and I will talk again. But I like to either talk at the Deck, which is Dallas Entrepreneurial Center, where I have about 25 paintings up, or the gallery down the street, Duncanville Art Museum and Gallery, or we can talk at Lowe's Day Drink and Cocktail Lounge,
I'm ready to
or we can
go.
talk at Takeout Burger.
We go. Everyone.
Yeah.
He got 4 books. We got 4 places to go or
Yes, we
more.
can go to
So
all of
I
them, and
appreciate that.
I'm looking forward to it, my friend.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you for telling me your journey, the process you went through. It wasn't easy, but I think you enjoyed it and you made the most of it, made a huge impact, and now you're like, I have the freedom to be me now. So I appreciate that.
Really,
Yes, sir. I know coming up next we have a quick little tour of what you have up here for us, to kind of give them a little deeper understanding of your art, of the vision, of the creativity, success, and the accomplishments. But I truly, truly, truly want to tell you thank you. Thank you for serving the Lord. Thank you for serving the kids, and thank you for
my
serving your
pleasure.
community.
Thank you,
Yes,
sir, for
sir.
having me. All
Thank
right,
you.
my friend.
All right. So what do we have here?
This painting is called Erasing Black History, and the reason why I did this particular painting was because Black History Month, which we hate, it's only 28 days,
Right.
but you have to realize they're not teaching it the other 365 days either.
Mm-hmm.
So to allocate the month is something you have to take advantage of, because the average teacher is a middle-aged white female.
Yes.
She's not going to teach it. And if she does teach it, she's probably not going to teach it the way you would,
Yes.
to really impact the students like you should. So I wanted to talk about the tragedy of erasing Black history. So what I did was I got newspaper articles from the USA Today and various newspaper and media from across the country and cut out articles that was talking about doing away with it.
Right.
The inspiration for the painting was to show children because that's what Black history is all about, their future. And I wanted to show kind of depth of children going all the way to the back. And I wanted to show children not upset, not angry, because they really don't know what's going on. But I
Yeah.
wanted to enlarge the erasers
Look at the
and
heads turned away from the back. Wow.
and I wanted to show the erasers smacking them in the face, even though they're smiling. I want to show the impact
Yeah.
of getting rid of Black history. And you got to understand, I don't paint just pretty pictures.
Okay.
I teach children to paint with a purpose. So you have the erasers down here, but someone was asking me why the periwinkle flowers.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that when Africans first came over here, they weren't allowed to write, they weren't allowed to read.
Yes, sir.
So when they buried mom and dad in a certain space, they would plant periwinkle flowers because they came in various colors
Right.
and they were perennials, not annuals. Perennials mean they grow back every year.
Okay.
So if I put pink where mama was buried at, I know this is where mama is because I knew that space.
Yeah.
If purple came up or blue came up for dad, I say that's where daddy's buried at because I couldn't write it. I couldn't write father. I
Yeah.
couldn't write that. So the periwinkle
Whoa.
flower was used by Africans to make sure, try not to get emotional, to make sure they remember.
Yes.
We got to remember. So this painting is about we got to remember Black history because they got to know their history because they have to know where they came from
Come
so
on.
they know where they're going. So the periwinkle flower is very symbolic of
I love
we got to
that.
be their memory. And so that's what I try to convey in this particular painting. This is probably one that I love the most because I wanted the children to be up here. I wanted them to uh, look adorable. I didn't paint it
Right.
super realistic, just realistic enough so you know they were Black children and they're the innocent one. The white around it shows what happens when you get rid of the history. You
Yeah.
leave nothing. You leave an
Nothing.
emptiness. And so that's the whole story of this particular painting called Erasing Black History.
When was this created?
I did this in 2024.
Yes.
Yes.
Man. Um, I love it. I think
And
a lot
prints
of
are
people do not
available as
talk about it.
well.
There we go. Come on now.
Prints are available
Where
as
can
well.
you find those prints at?
They just contact me at my number at 469-630-4546. And the prints begin at $75. This particular painting is valued at $7,500,
Okay.
$7,500. But prints start at $75 based on sizes,
Right.
and they go all the way up to $250 for a print, unframed.
Okay. Okay. Well, I love it. I think this is a way to prevent erasing history. So go ahead and get this in your wall. Like it makes sense. Come on
Educators,
now.
families, yes.
Yes.
Part
Yes.
of branding and becoming an artist, you have to be able to control your narrative. You have to tell your story. So I'm featured in all of this, and sometimes the magazine will contact me. Sometimes you have to contact the magazine or have your parents contact the magazine.
Right.
Write your story. Tell them you exist. Don't just assume, well, I'm a great artist. Everybody say I'm a great artist. They're going to contact me one day. No,
No.
you have to go knocking on doors. Sometimes you got to kick in doors and tell your story.
Your why.
Your
Yeah.
why. I
Yes,
like
sir.
that. This was an article from People Magazine. This is Amanda, the 13-year-old girl that I taught, and this tells about she was 13, how we made all this money. Like we worked. We had an art exhibit at the Anatole Hotel.
Hmm.
One weekend, we made $600,000 selling her work. No prints, only originals, and that came from you got to go to the media, you got to go to
Yeah.
Fox News, you got to go to ABC, you got to let them know who you are. Let them know
They
what you're
want a
doing.
story. They
That's right.
want a story.
This is one of my books. And this book, if you can see, you got my fine, beautiful wife on the back.
Amen.
She's all of that in a bag of
Yeah.
chips.
Yeah.
And inside, I'm telling my story, but everything is about my paintings.
Mm.
And it tells about the storyline about each painting and even one or two of those over there. Then you see pictures of me and Oprah, me and Beyonce, me and the president, me and Master
Come
P's,
on.
me and of course, man, letters from the governor, letters from Barack Obama, letters from the late Honorable Eddie Bernice Johnson, You have to let people know you exist.
What was the? I about to say, was that what that book was about? Just collecting the work and everything and showing
Collecting
kids, hey,
some, yeah,
okay,
you have to produce, you have to decide how you're going to brand
portfolio
your work.
style,
Yeah,
yeah,
and this I would sell at different shows. So you would sell this at a show, and you do, I have about, I actually have hundreds of paintings, if
yes,
not
sir,
thousands. So I just selected one. This one is just a collection of my work with the new style that I have. This is called spontaneous realism. It's
yeah,
done by an artist from Austria named Volka. I love this brushstroke. I love the energy in his paintings. You can see I paint realistic. This is actually my
yes,
son and my daughter. Curtis is now 24. She's now 13,
right.
and so I paint realistically, but I'm feeling this now, and that's just another uh,
That's his
level
painting
you
in
go
the
to.
back, y'all. Like it
It
gets
is,
better.
it is,
Wow.
and
I
you
want to
can
know
do
what you
that.
have hung up in your house. Like,
My wife,
yeah,
I
come
got big,
on,
large paintings of her living
come
room,
on.
bedroom, family room, and then I have a lot of pictures of Black Jesus
Yes, sir.
uh, doing different things with Black children,
Okay.
which you would normally see a white Jesus doing.
Yeah.
I have a Black Jesus doing it, so we do that.
All
And
right.
then these are what we're going to be giving away on Friday evening, and
Mhm.
they're just a little booklet that you take with you free of charge,
Yes,
and
sir.
it asks several questions about you and what you should do, and get you to define who you are, because that's so important.
I love it. I love it.
Yes,
So we got one more thing to kind of check out. This is gonna take us through the real history. Stay tuned.
yes. If you're going to go into business for yourself, you must invest into advertising.
Come on.
You have to invest into things that will show who you are and show examples of your work.
Hmm.
This is what I use when I'm doing caricatures. But not only am I showing me, I'm showing me with Beyonce, I'm showing
Right.
me with President Bush, and me and Oprah, and me and Lamont Rucker.
Credibility. Yeah.
You got to show and give validity to who you are, so people, without having to talk to you, they can simply look and say, oh, this guy, wow.
Yeah.
And that also validates your prices, because people will try to shortchange you as an artist because they feel like, well, it probably didn't take them long to do it, or I'm not going to pay that much for art. And what a lot of people have to understand, which I'm going to talk about Friday, art is an investment. If you look at Jay-Z, you look at Tyler Perry, you look at Oprah,
Right.
part of their financial portfolio is their fine art.
Hmm.
They've purchased paintings for, like Hindi Wiley, his painting sell for 450,000 for one. Even the Queen Elizabeth had one, the Queen of England. And so you have to be able to put value to your work. You got to brand it. You can't just say, well, hopefully one day someone will find
Right.
me. You start controlling that narrative.
Faith without
Okay.
works is what?
Dead. Okay.
Dead. So coming up next, you have your paintings out. I know there's usually a story. I can't interpret what it is, so I do want to know what was the vision behind
Okay, this particular painting is called Maria's Bubbles.
it. Okay.
And in my painting, I don't just try to paint a pretty picture, I try to
Hmm.
paint with a purpose. And in this particular case, because from my spiritual background, I know that when God breathed life into Adam, it was a breath. So what I try to show is that her bubbles actually represents her dreams,
Right.
and she's blowing life into her dreams, and they're starting to rise. And there's an old cliche that says, don't burst my bubble.
Right.
So that is to say, Marie's bubbles need to be protected. Now, I use a style from an artist named Volka. It's called spontaneous realism. I could have painted this realistically,
Right.
but I wanted to paint it because I wanted the colors to show the energy. I wanted the colors to be more expressive. And a lot of times when you paint realistically, you could have just got a camera and took a picture of it.
Right.
But no one can reproduce this. No one can reproduce my brushstrokes. The drips that you see, especially the white ones, symbolize innocent, for me, innocence and God's approval upon it. If I'm using white drips, that's God's approval upon it. The red shows the compassion, yellows and all those other colors mixed in there shows tranquility. The green represents life, and so that's what you try to do as you represent your different paintings, and that's what this is about.
Okay. I really
Yes,
like it. I really like it.
prints are available.
Come on.
Prints
Always
are
plug that
available.
in.
Yes, prints
You
are
know,
available.
now everyone can tell you, art looks amazing, but it's scary to start because how do you see the finish when it was just all a blank canvas, So what is it like going from a blank canvas and creating something like this?
Well, normally artists have great imaginations and visions in their head.
Okay.
And like I did with Amanda, I always start with the idea of playing in the paint.
Right.
So a lot of this is just me, and I listen to music.
Okay.
So depending on the composition, if it's something that's going to be joyful or playful, I may play, like in this particular, I may play Will Smith "Summertime." I may
Really?
play in this one. I may play Pharrell's "Be Happy." So you got different songs that cause you to have a different rhythm, and your paintbrush and your strokes kind of match the rhythm. So if you're doing something more romantic, like if you look at some of my other pieces, you'll see softer brush strokes. You won't see the jaggedness that you see here. You won't see the expressiveness there. That energy changes,
Okay.
and that's what you want to do. So even
Okay.
when you go with the kite here, the kite also represents dreams,
Mhm.
because if you notice in our conversation, I'm always talking about dreaming. If the child can't dream, they don't know where they're going. The Bible
Right.
says, without vision, a people perish.
Yeah.
You got to have a goal. You got to have a destination. And then you kind of go through the journey. Because even in here, you see the little butterflies
Yeah.
that are suggested. Those also talk about the metamorphosis, the change. And the faster a child runs, the higher the kite goes. So the focus becomes, I want my dreams to come true. So the expression and the energy is
Yeah.
all about the movement. And it's not about painting a perfect sky. And that's what I try to teach children. Don't try to be perfect with it. Just express yourself. Now, I needed my brushstrokes to be horizontal.
Okay.
So I did go horizontally because I wanted to show motion, and
Motion.
I wanted to show that she's kind of on a level field, a level plane, because she's going somewhere. I didn't want it to have the zigzag in it. So all those things become important when you're doing a project or a painting. This was done in 24. This was done in 24.
Yes.
So yeah, I was doing it.
And if y'all have the heart for art, and this is actually something you're able to hear his passion in it, don't be afraid of pursuing. Don't
That's
be
right.
afraid of connecting just because this is a still photo, but it's moving.
That's
You
right.
get the idea. So it's making it, you don't have to have a camera, you don't have to be a content creator, you don't have to be on TikTok. You can still pursue the original art, designing, creating, painting, all of that.
And something I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said. What you're gonna learn that I try to teach students is, and these are basic laws. Diagonal lines show motion. So if you want something to be diagonal, you're saying it's moving. You're
Okay.
suggesting movement with the diagonal. Even though the horizontal lines show that things are stationary, as soon as she comes into play, you say, "Oh, well, she's moving."
Right.
The ground and stuff is not moving. The sky's not moving, but she is, and that's what you
Mhm.
want to be able to do
Yes,
in your
sir.
paintings.
Okay. All right. So we
Yeah.
got a couple
And
more.
this one I did as a tribute to black girls who would eventually be black women. This is a tribute to black girls. And I wanted to take the phone out of their hand.
Okay.
I wanted them reading. I didn't want them, you know, cussing each other out. I didn't want them arguing, fussing, and fighting. I wanted to show black
Peace and
girls,
tranquility.
hey, your
Yeah.
images shape your reality. And I wanted them to be different shades. I wanted them to have different hairstyles.
Yeah.
I wanted them to be interested in the book. I wanted them to be having a discussion about what they were reading and what they
Yeah.
were seeing. I wanted it to be outside, because so many times now we're on cell phones, we're inside, we forget what nature's about. We
Yes.
miss God in it, in my opinion, because
Yeah.
when you're outside, especially if you're laying in grass, you're going to observe nature. You're going to see his greatness, because you're going to look at every blade of grass. You're going to look at the trees. You're going to look at insects. Whether you're running from them or not,
Yeah.
you're going to experience God's glory, in my opinion,
Yes.
by looking at nature and experiencing it. And they could be reading a Bible story, they could be reading Sunday school lessons, but there's a peace there, and
Yes,
that's what
sir.
I wanted to try to capture with the greens and blues. I wanted to paint a peace, no frowns, just curiosity, interest, conversation, and opinion.
Absolutely. This was created in 19, right before COVID. So
Yes.
I want y'all to see just already the vision behind people needing that peace, tranquility outside, and you did beautiful. Like,
All praise and honor go to God. And these two are available in prints, and they start at $75, and they go all the way up to $250 in prints. This one also
Somebody's
is,
mom want this for
yeah,
their Christmas and Thanksgiving gift.
yeah.
This is going on some wall in the house, all right? So y'all know where to get it. Come on.
Every reading teacher should have this. Every library should have this in there,
Yes.
and I think that would be great.
All right. So before we go, is there
Yes,
any website, any way they can find more of your art, or like
I'm
you said, buy
located.
prints and everything?
Yes, I'm located on Instagram as Masterpiece, MasterPiece 9548, and I'm also on Instagram as Masterpiece 9548. I'm
I'm
on
gonna have it right here for y'all. Don't
Okay,
worry.
and
Yes,
I'm on Facebook at Curtis Ferguson, and I'm also on TikTok. Uh,
sir.
so you can reach me there or LinkedIn as well, Curtis Ferguson, and you know, yeah,
All right. Well, Mr.
my
Ferguson, I
pleasure, my
appreciate
friend.
you. You really take me through a whole journey of not only yourself, your journey, the impact you made in all the different places you've been, starting in Michigan, all the way down here
Yeah,
to Berg Middle School in Duncanville ISD. So thank you for your impact. I hope you have a great weekend this weekend. And I'm looking to capture all this things that's happened this weekend. So do not miss it. I got to hurry up and get this video out
all right.
too. But once again, thank
Thank
you.
you, my friend. I
All
appreciate
right.
you.
You have a
Thank you.
great day.